Hello, my name is Brittany Foreman, and I am doing an informative speech. Voting is an act that everyone should participate in. Voting allows you to make the decision as to how you would personally like for your country to be ran. To do so, it is important to know exactly who you want to vote for and why you want to vote for them. And it's important to know about their personal views and how they plan to run the country. And the biggest way for you to know which candidate to vote for is to understand whether they are a part of the Democratic or Republican Party. Uh, Particularly speaking to people that are first or second time voters, a lot of them don't know the difference between the two. Many people just go off of the majority of the people that they speak to that are into politics, that keep up with the debates. They just go off of who they feel is the best person instead of doing their own research and knowing for themselves who to vote for. So it's important for you to know whether they are Republican or Democratic because it determines what type of government you'll be having. Whether it be a big government or a small government, it's important for you to know which one you want to have and which one you should expect after you vote for that particular person. So, three main ideas you should focus on is the difference between Democrats and Republicans, the similarities between the two, and which party you stand for personally. So, in determining the difference between the two, the first thing you should know is the general definition. Democrats are liberal. They are more open to new behaviors, and they're willing to discard traditional values and prefer a regulated system or government. Whereas Republicans are more conservative, which means that they lean more towards traditions and they would like a smaller government with less regulations. Knowing the general definitions for the two will give you a better understanding of what their views are in certain ideas, such as economic ideas, social human ideas, and certain controversial ideas such as gay marriage and abortion. With economic ideas, Democrats believe that the more wealthy people should pay higher taxes than people that are making minimum wage, so that those people are able to pay taxes and also afford to support their families. Whereas Republicans, they believe more in they believe more that everyone should have the same amount of taxes paid and that wages should be set for the free market. With social human ideas, Democrats focus on social and community responsibility. With Republicans, they focus more on individual rights and justice. And with gay marriage and abortion, Democrats, they focus, they are more for gay marriage and for abortion because they believe that in freedom of choice and the fact that people should be able to choose how they want to live and how they want to create their family. Whereas Republicans, they're opposed to both of these issues because, like I said, they are more conservative. They like to stick to tradition. On the other hand, with these two issues, it can also go the opposite way. Some Democrats are opposed to gay marriage and abortion, whereas Republicans are for it. It really just depends on that particular person and their personal values. But for the most part, Republicans are going to go against the different values. So when it comes to how they're similar, both parties are pro expanding the government. They both are focused on, their main idea is expanding government and less on liberation for people. You know, they are part of the government. Government wants to control most things in society. They want to always keep their hands in certain things, whether it be monitoring phone calls, uh, reading emails, all that type of stuff. Government wants to have their hand in controlling how things work in the economy and in society. So with both the Democratic and Republican Party, that is their main focus, on expanding government and focusing on how the government works as opposed to liberation. Liberation of people probably comes second because, like I said, government comes first. Another similarity that they have is that they are both okay with insane spending or with debt because it helps provide funds for wars and it also helps expand agencies. And the final example for their similarities is immigration. In today's world, both Democratic and Republicans are pro-immigration. They don't feel that immigrants are in the way of getting jobs or housing or health care. They are more pro-immigration nowadays, but 20 years ago it wasn't like that. It was a divide where Republicans were opposed to immigration. So the final idea is knowing whether or not you are Democratic or a Republican. And knowing whether you are either of those two is important because it's easier for you to make your decision when it comes time to vote. If you are a Democratic, then it'll be easier for you to vote for the Democratic Party. And vice versa, if you're a Republican, you'll usually go towards the Republican Party. But it's really all about what your personal beliefs are. You have to know what you believe in. If you are a Mormon or a Christian, usually you will be a Republican because they like to stick to tradition. Whereas if you are a young college student, most of them are Democrats because they want to go against the grain and go against what everyone else is doing and, dumb down rules a little bit. So if you are in either one of those classes, it's easier for you to decide which party you will be a part of. And the third look will be to understand your personal needs as a U.S. citizen. If your biggest issue is healthcare, then you need to go with whichever party is able to provide the best healthcare situation for you personally. Not, it is important for you to look at society as a whole, but it's also important for you to look at it as an individual too, because everyone is selfish and they want to know what's going to help them. So it's important for you to know about your views and your values and what you believe in so that you can determine whether you are a Republican or a Democrat. So in conclusion, when it comes to being a Democrat or a Republican, you should understand the differences, the similarities, and which one you are, because it'll help you think more about society as a whole. It'll help you with making decisions, and it'll also help you to learn a little bit more about yourself. Maybe you didn't know that you were a Democrat. Maybe you felt like you were a more conservative person that likes to stick to tradition, but then you looked at certain issues in society, and now you're gearing towards being a Democrat. So it's important to know yourself and know what you want as a citizen, so that you can determine where you stand and which party you would like to vote for. So knowing this can possibly help you know about the person that you're voting for, and it's extremely important to know that. Understanding what a Republican and Democratic is a great start to understanding how this voting thing works. If you're a first time voter, the first thing, and probably the most important thing you should know, is the difference and the similarities and where you stand between being a Democrat and a Republican. Thank you.